Verkada is an AI-powered security technology company that says it uses artificial intelligence to protect the physical world, and it just landed a hefty investment that brings its valuation to $5.8 billion. dollars. Joining me now to share more is Verkada's CFO, Cameron Rezai. Cameron, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, what is Verkada?
Well, Verkada is a technology business that solves a real world problem of physical safety. We make technology cloud first, AI native that protects spaces, physical building. We started with video security products that can analyze space. Our founders looked at what you have maybe in your home, like a smart doorbell or a smart camera in your home, and said, "Hey, how can we do that? Not just for like one home, but for hundreds to thousands of locations, whether you're a large municipality or a commercial enterprise." Now we've expanded into many other systems that protect physical spaces, things that control doors, things that are alarm systems that dispatch the police, all of them kind of cloud native, AI first, integrated. Sense of size and scale. We've been at this now almost 10 years. We have 30,000 customers, almost 2 million devices deployed, and really are on a mission to protect people and places.
And you just received an investment from Capital G that brings your valuation to $5.8 billion. dollars. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're announcing that Alphabet's independent sort of investment growth arm called Capital G is leading an investment around in us. They're investing money, raising our valuation almost $1.3 billion from the round we announced earlier this year. I think it sort of is a testament to how AI is changing the physical world. We all use various things that can search things or chatbots or other stuff, but in the physical world, AI is really helping protect people, identify situations, deter crime, drive investigations. I think their sort of recognition of what we're doing in that space is obviously very validating, and we continue to invest more.
And speaking of AI changing things in the physical world, as you mentioned, can you talk about the AI use cases for your products? What is it actually doing?
There are many ways in which AI can help make physical security better. I'll just list three of them. So one of them is, how do we deter crime faster, right? So what does the deterrence look like? That looks like, our ability to identify somebody in a scene and then identify attributes of what's going on in that scene. For example, they're loitering or they jumped over a fence. And then find images about these people and then actually generate voice responses that say, "Hey, you in the black hoodie, you're trespassing on the property. We're going to notify the police if you don't show up." It means things like helping identify and respond faster. So in that situation, really being able to say, "Hey, what is a threatening activity? What maybe is not?" For example, somebody loitering in an ATM vestibule or outside of a retail store for 5 or 10 minutes, right? And then be able to create alerts for individuals who might want to investigate that item, right? And then lastly, it's how we actually investigate incidents that happen. We live in a world that is unfortunately not getting any safer, and so when incidents happen, it's oftentimes takes law enforcement or other professionals at the businesses days or weeks to find the individual, track down the video, sort of compile that all together. AI makes it really, really easy to scan across, hundreds of devices, tens of hours of footage, find what happened, find that individual, and then investigate that. And all of that is sort of made possible because Verkada has a sort of cloud first, AI first technology stack that really drives physical security.
And how effective has this technology been? What has the customer feedback been?
Well, I think it's been pretty outstanding. It's, partially driven by the fact that we have so many customers now, over 30,000, almost 100 countries globally, almost 100 of the Fortune 500 are using this. I think we have examples of where folks are really saying, "Hey, you're now able to protect sort of places that were very hard to protect before." For example, Terawatt is a company that does sort of outdoor charging and for folks like Waymo and others, right? What they're looking at this is saying it's very hard to secure an outdoor space. Your home or a business, you can arm the doors, right? Type in a PIN code, and then there's like an alarm system that works. But what do you do in a large fenced-in area? How do you protect that, right? Well, the best way to protect that is using AI, video, and other sort of systems that are able to detect what's going on there, and then say, okay, somebody should take action, whether that's dishwashing law enforcement or if it's just, hey, let's notify the owner of this store that there's somebody on the property, and then they can decide whether they want to sort of that's a customer or somebody that shouldn't be there.
All right. And there have been a number of high profile crimes recently. How do the headlines of the day underscore the need for security?
Well, I think it's sort of twofold. One is, as I mentioned earlier, I oftentimes ask people, do you think the world is getting sort of safer or less safe? And unfortunately, I think most people answer that in the same way, which is, less safe. And so the need for security is only going to increase in the world. And whether that's retail crime, whether that's school safety, whether that's, museums in this case, the need to sort of protect people and places is an ever increasing kind of market trend. Think the second thing is, what we saw in the Louvre incident is sort of unfortunately emblematic of what we've seen in other security incidents where there were insufficient cameras or the cameras were offline or they were sort of pointed in the wrong way and people didn't really know that, right? And so, we live in a world now where, you can check in on your dog or cat at home, but most businesses can't even check in on the, multi-million dollar paintings that are sitting in that hallway. They don't have devices that can stream to the internet or stream to their phones. And so, we're making that connected technology that allows businesses, municipalities, cities to really be able to make their spaces safer and smarter. And that demand is only going to continue.
And what do you think the future is for AI in physical security? Where do you think it's going?
Well, I think it's sort of we're at the sort of early days of being able to really augment, you know, physical security professionals in what they do. We're always going to be in a world in which human beings are protecting and guarding other human beings, and that is sort of what is going to happen because in the real world, you need human beings to help sort of create safety. But how do we make them smarter and how do we make them more efficient? I would argue that a person staring at 100 screens in the lobby of the Louvre is probably not actually going to notice the one screen where that person might have cracked open a window or done something else. And so we're able to, with AI technology, search through hundreds and thousands of hours of sort of information and be able to identify problems. Verkada is processing at this point 20 million images a second in these sort of secure locations in which we help our customers to protect the safety of their people. And that's the kind of thing that AI and cloud native software is really quite excels at.
All right. Verkada CFO Cameron Rezai, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.